Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly reading for March 20th, 2023. This is the reading for the collective, and basically what I do is I pick up the energies of the week to help you guys work with the energies and not against them. And if any of this resonates with you, I'd love to hear it. So please drop a comment if it does. And also like and subscribe, like this video if it resonated, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see content like this. I'm going to start doing the monthlies on here as well. And I also do dailies over at the YouTube Shorts, okay? All right, guys, let's just jump right into it, okay? So we have the current energy, so let's see what's kind of going on for this week. We have Aphrodite of romantic love. Ooh, okay. So this isn't so this is a reading for the collective consciousness, which means, you know, it's a pretty general reading. It does tap into relationships, money and finance, career, overall outcome, that kind of thing. And as you can see, the rest of the spread here. But it's interesting that romantic love kind of came up in the current. So I definitely do feel like, and it's not just because our relationships really mean all of our relationships. But this romantic love is really popping out here, and actually has the number 2, which is linked to soulmate connections, more balance, more harmony, that kind of thing. So I see it as a positive thing with Aphrodite kind of coming in here with this romantic love. So I definitely do feel like there's love in the air, but also too, it feels very like balancing, like I said, and harmonious. So I definitely do feel like, yes, it definitely is an emphasis on our romantic relationships, having this more balanced, this more harmonious type energy kind of coming through. So I see it nothing but positive, especially for our romantic relationships. But we do have a relationship slot up there, so we'll see what's under there. But it definitely does foreshadow the week, that this week is pretty heavy on our romantic relationships. If we are single, there's a potentiality for meeting somebody. There's a potentiality for, I don't want to say like somebody coming back, but definitely feeling more loving, feeling more maybe inclined to meet other people, maybe opening up your heart a little bit more, working on the, you know, doing some chakra work, working on the heart chakra, that kind of thing. So let's just see what the rest of the reading says, and then I can elaborate on that as well. And I'm very curious to see what the relationship slot says. Okay, so our strength. So interesting, guys. Hermit, as far as the strength goes, it says, seek solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. Okay, so this is our strength this week, guys, is to spend time with our inner selves. Sometimes I call it our essence. Sometimes I call it our soul-centered selves. Our higher self is, you know, the, excuse me, is the term that is used most often. But actually our strengths are, this is definitely a more introspective week. You guys know that I kind of sometimes label the energies as either introspective or kind of action oriented, kind of going out into the world, that kind of thing. So this could also be too connected here to this romantic love, is that we're really spending a lot of time this week figuring out what we want for a partner, and really figuring out how we can be more grounded in our relationships, or a little bit less guarded, for example, and just finding that balance. So this could also be, and especially, like I said, some, you know, not everybody's going to be coupled. That's, you know, in the collective, not everybody's coupled up. This could be for our single people who are really trying to figure out what kind of relationship would work best for them. And so that's your strength this week. This is, I really do feel it being in the strength spot, that there's a lot more clarity coming to you this week about that, as long as you give yourself the time, the space, and the energy to focus on that inner life, like it says, and spend a little bit more time figuring that out and going within, okay? Let's see what the challenge is. So we have spiritual career. Okay, so this is almost like, it's funny that it started with balance, because it almost feels like very, I don't want to say polar opposites, but it's almost like, and things can exist in balance, okay? So what I'm about to say, can you have a, you know, a great career? Can you also have a great relationship? Yes, absolutely you can. But it's almost interesting because even though, like I said, that 2 here is helping us get a little bit more balance within our relationships, it's kind of, there's a misbalance, if that's even a word, with our work and our careers. And so I really do feel like this is a week that a lot of you guys are going to be struggling, at least some of you, I would actually say the majority of you, with balancing your romantic relationships and a career. I could definitely see an issue popping, you know, rearing its ugly head this week about maybe, maybe this isn't the right way to say it, but like almost kind of having to choose between the two, or feeling pulled in one direction and feeling like, you know, something's got to give, something has to tweak about, like you have to make adjustments in one area, you know, whether that's within the relationships or within the career. Like it almost just feels like it's just going to be very, very challenging finding that. And not necessarily, and again, we have money and finances, which I put into the category of career as well, but it doesn't feel, and we'll get more clarity, like I said, but it doesn't necessarily feel like this is, you know, sorry to say it, you know, I read what comes up, I'm very truthful about it. Doesn't necessarily feel like the greatest week for work, but we'll keep going and see what kind of comes up. But feels like a great week for us to really figure out, again, what we really want in a romantic partnership. Okay, so let me keep reading and see if we get some more clarity here. Okay, so Green Tower of Salvation. Okay, so this is really about how do I say this? What's the best way to say this? Not saving ourselves, but I would say being easier on ourselves is the best way I can say it. Or let me think. What's the right word I could say here? Not beating ourselves up. Giving ourselves grace actually would be a good way to say this. So this week, so because this is actually also next to romantic love. So again, guys, another card kind of symbolizing like this is about us and how we deal with our relationships, what we have dealt with in the past. So this actually is making me feel like we're diving, which makes sense if we're going within about our relationships and what has worked, what has not worked, what do you need, what do you not need in a relationship. It makes sense why a lot of the past could probably stir up a lot of different feelings about maybe how you behaved or what you allowed in past relationships and things like that. So this salvation here is really asking us, yeah, I think I like saying like giving yourself grace, not beating yourself up and that kind of thing. So being easy on yourself, kind of like, yeah, kind of like compassion, but obviously always try to give, self-compassion, compassion to others, obviously, but I definitely do feel like our souls need it. And so I definitely do feel like a lot of digging back in the past. So definitely give yourself grace for sure. So let's keep going so we can get more clarity here. Focus. Okay, so we have adventure and we have the 55. 55, oh my gosh, I've been seeing this like crazy. I know a lot of us in the last few months, it's been lasting a really long time for us. Some of you guys have been going through it since December. And it definitely does feel like you're in this transition, but this actual focus here is adventure. So if there is an opportunity that comes up for you to take an adventure of some kind, even though it feels, I have to say this, like inopportune, like it's not the right not that it's not the right opportunity for you, it's like the least opportunistic time. Like it's not the right time. Like it feels like it almost feels like it might be a burden. You would benefit from some type of adventure of some kind, some type of trip, some type of getting out of your normal comfort zone. I feel like it might be more solo as well because it's next to the Hermit instead of a group trip, which is funny. So this is actually turning out, so getting more clarity as I'm reading the cards about this romantic love here. It feels more introspective. So yes, could some of us be meeting people? Yes, but again, it is all pointing a little bit more towards doing the inner work about what kind of relationship that we want, and that's focused this week. But anyway, adventure is something that would be really beneficial for us to focus on. So taking any kind of trip or doing something different out of the comfort zone, taking a different way home, like that kind of thing. And then, like I said, the 55, yes, it is linked to adventure, but it's also linked to ending. So I definitely do feel like I have to say this, maybe a couple more weeks. I'd be interested to kind of see next week's reading, but I definitely do feel like your new beginning is coming, but it's not necessarily there quite yet. Okay, let's see what's a surprise this week that we should be looking out for. Ooh, secrets. Oh my gosh, this is a good one. Guys, I'm definitely feeling like something is going to come out, whether it's a secret of yours. So there's two things kind of coming out of this card. It's either secret of yours or somebody coming through with the secret. So if you are in a romantic relationship with somebody, I feel like something is going to be revealed to most of you guys this week. If not, I feel like it's something about your secret and what you truly, truly want, because this also points to being honest with ourselves, and not holding back any secrets. And the thing is I feel like when it's near, because it's next to the surprise, it definitely feels like you're surprising yourself about what you truly want. So I definitely, this is like, you guys, this is turning out to be like a huge week about figuring out what you need from a relationship that will 100% surprise you. Like, I definitely do feel like a lot of you guys are really going to be shocked. And like an example would be like somebody who doesn't want a commitment all of a sudden really truly figures out that they really do want a commitment, or somebody that is has been monogamous their whole life really realizing that that lifestyle doesn't work for them. Whatever it actually is, could be anything. Those are just two of the examples that kind of popped up in my head. So I would be very interested to see what kind of comes through this week, and I definitely feel like it's things that will surprise you and shock you. Like, it feels pretty big, I'm not gonna lie, especially because it's preceding the change, okay? So that might be part of the change, okay? I'm sorry, succeeding, coming after this 55 here. Okay, so let's actually see what relationships are, because this will give us some clues here. So you have a magical child, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Okay, so this is nothing but optimistic to me. This is innocence kind of coming through here, which is great. And again, not necessarily romantic relationships, but since that current energy of the week is really dominated by that romantic connections, by our romantic connections, I'm definitely going to say this is part of it. And so the innocence of relationships, what I can see for you guys happening this week is also being able to see a lot of the positive in all relationships, seeing the genuine intentions of people being revealed to us. And again, not necessarily romantic, but it is heavy on that this week, so I wouldn't be surprised at all. But could be our platonic relationships as well. Finally kind of seeing that light, seeing a different perspective in the way of seeing people's innocence. Sometimes for me, what works, I know there's like exercises out there where you can practice like kind of envisioning people that maybe have harmed you, or if you're trying to understand your partner, you imagine them like as a child, and kind of trying to figure out like what they went through and that kind of thing, and really seeing their innocence. Okay, so that could be like a good exercise, but I definitely like that kind of vibe is like coming through, basically is what I'm trying to say. Money, finances, career, what do we got going on here? Oh, we have kind of another childlike energy. We have the orphan in the shadow, feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. Okay, guys, very interesting that relationships are coming through also with work. So here's what I will say, because this is the money and the finances. I feel like, I'm just going to be honest. It definitely feels, I've said this already, feels dominant in the relationship part of things for the week. It doesn't feel like a great work week in the way of advancing, okay? Or getting, moving forward in your career. Like, it feels like, don't be surprised if this is kind of like a blah week, or like a more stagnant type week for you. Doesn't mean anything. It just means that, the energies coming through are more, again, we're working with these energies here. It's more focused on relationships in general. And so this abandonment has a lot to do with how we view money and how we view finances, and putting our stock in things that are outside of ourselves, where we feel like we don't belong. So I would actually say, as far as like more specifically with the money goes, is just be careful that you're not like, I guess I could say like betting on something outside of yourself, or not trusting yourself. I'm just going to say this, and I'm not a financial advisor of any kind, trust me, but I feel like if you bet on something outside of yourself, the money is there's a good chance the money will not grow, is the best way I can kind of say it, or it just feels like feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. Yeah, like inappropriate surrogate families, meaning like putting your money and putting your, betting on something outside of yourself besides you. Like, you make your own money. You're autonomous. Like, you're independent. You can do it. You can grow your own money and finances and career and that kind of thing. But this is saying, like, there might be opportunities that kind of come up where we feel we can put, that we can just kind of hand over our money and trust the other person. Trust something outside of us. The example that's popping up in my head, again, not a financial advisor, guys. Please do what works best for you. Please listen to your own intuition above all. But somebody coming through, you've always wanted to invest, and they say, hey, I have this really great thing that you can invest in. You just have to give me X amount of money, and I'll handle all of it, and it's really a great investment. And you do no research at all, and you just kind of hand it over blindly. That's what's like saying, like, oh, I trust this person, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I don't know anything about investing. And so what Spirit is trying to say right here is, it's great to trust people, but relying on other people to kind of help you get ahead in money, finances, and career is not necessarily the aligned step this week, is basically what Spirit is trying to say. I hope that makes sense. Some of these are really hard to interpret because it's energy, but it's kind of like, please be as autonomous as possible. Again, not a financial advisor, but maybe not the best week to invest in something you don't know anything about. Actually, that's pretty good advice in general. It's like, know what you're investing in, basically. But make sure you are, and again, it's wonderful to trust people, use your intuition, use your discernment, but, putting your career, money, finances in somebody else's hands this week doesn't feel great. I would actually, again, do what feels best for you guys, but this is kind of what's coming up with for me energy-wise, is like, don't make any bold moves this week. Like, it doesn't feel like a bold move week for you guys as far as career, money, and finances go, because, like I said, I'm definitely feeling dominant relationships, and that's really going to take all your time, energy, etc. Okay, so last overall outcome in general. Okay, so we have patience. Oh boy, do we all need more patience. Okay, so here we end with the 2. Okay, we began with the 2 and we ended with the 2. In addition to me seeing 555 everywhere, I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. I'm seeing 222 literally everywhere I go. I see it even quadrupled sometimes. And so to me, always about harmonious balance. Everything is balancing itself out. Even though this week is dominant on relationships, it's trying to find an equilibrium. It'll all balance it out. And again, I can't wait to see what next week holds, but everything is starting to balance itself out. So the things that are unbalanced right now are going to be, we have to do the course correction in a way, the correction. So basically, I definitely do feel like a lot of us have not necessarily been as diligent as we maybe once were or were before about, doing the work. I call it the soul work. That's why I call it soul work with Justine. And it's really about like doing the work about how to know what type of relationships are right for you. And so I feel like that maybe we've been slacking a little bit, or that hasn't been the focus, but I definitely do feel like it's starting to balance itself out with, but first we need kind of like a push week of like kind of, getting our ducks in a row and really just like rediscovering that part of ourselves. But we must have a lot of patience, okay? But I definitely do feel like, I have to say this, I'm getting this energy of really slow moving week. I don't know about you guys, but because I've been going through health issues, my weeks have been going by super slow. But I've been super present because of it, which I think is great. And it's also teaching me patience, which I have none of. So I am very appreciative. So I definitely do feel like it's like that for this week. All I have to say is like, I wonder what next week says, but I've been doing this for months and it's really, really tough, but it's such like a learning experience. So don't be surprised, basically, is what I'm trying to say, is if time feels like it's going so slow this week, but take advantage of that slowness to really go within, but also being present. And that being present has actually come up in a lot of my private readings too. I've been getting that a lot, and I haven't gotten that in a really long time. But that 2 energy is really all about getting things into balance, really making sure everything is harmonious. And I definitely could say the weeks coming, the months coming, it's going to be a really good few months for us, as long as we kind of like get all this stuff out of the way, it feels like. So and maybe next week will be a little bit better on the, you know, with the career and, you know, money and finances and that kind of thing. But again, very dominant on going within and figuring out what we want our relationships to look, how we want our relationships to look. And then also, again, this nice little bonus here of focusing maybe a little bit more on adventure and fun and that kind of thing. And so yeah, I hope this resonates with you guys. Let me know. And like I said, if you, you know, something kind of comes up during the week where you feel like it resonates, please come back to this video and just drop a comment. I would really appreciate that. And like and subscribe for similar content. Okay, guys, have a good one. Bye.